Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is episode number 8. Thanks, Luke.
Already.
I'm glad you're here, Luke. Of Sport Talk at Townsend. So, as you just heard, I've got my two co-presenters with me. So, I've got George.
Hello.
And I've got Luke.
Hello.
And as usual, we're going to give the rundown of the Premier League results. We're going to focus on what happened with Boreham Wood and St Albans, as the boys, as you well know, those of you who listen every week the boys are avid fans of those two.
We still haven't got a manager.
And St Albans still haven't got a manager, so I'm sure George will give his opinion on who might have to come through to be manager there.
Not David Noble.
Not David
Please,
Noble.
no.
Luke, George definitely doesn't want David Noble.
No, I don't.
And in the second half, we've got a very special guest coming up. So, Mr. Barnes is here with us today. And I'm sure we'll talk to him about his sport and his love for Leyton Orient and how that's going this year as well. So, boys, shall we start with the Premier League results?
Yeah, on there.
Yeah. So, we had an early game on Saturday. So, it was my Spurs versus Mr. Timpson's Man United. And it finished in a 2-2. I wouldn't say a thriller, but it would finish 2-2. Okay, last 10 minutes was quite thrilling, but
Two very late goals.
Two very late goals, I know. One was bittersweet for me, but for Mr. Timpson, I'm sure he was really happy. Everton beat Fulham 2-0. West Ham beat Burnley 3-2. Another late goal in this one, wasn't there, where Sunderland drew with Arsenal 2-2.
Yes, Arsenal
I watched
joined
it. At the same time, I literally jumped off my bed.
When Sunderland equalised.
Yeah. And my uncle's a Sunderland fan.
Oh, really? That's the link.
Yeah.
So there's Sunderland have started the season really well, haven't they? Like really well, and they look like they're gonna make a really, really good fist, and not only staying up, but maybe pushing for top 10, maybe.
Possibly get that European claim that Luke said about last time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you said they might finish in Europe, didn't you? So, and then we had a late game on Saturday night where Chelsea beat managerless Wolves 3-0. So, Chelsea look okay at the moment, don't they? Whereas, I don't think the same can be said for Wolves. They look like they're in a bit of trouble, don't they, boys?
They're actually on course to break Derby's record of the worst team in Premier League history because they're on 2 points a quarter of the way through the season. So it's looking like they're only going to get 8 points.
I know. Yeah, it doesn't look good. What's the record? Is it 11?
11 points from Derby.
11 points from Derby. So I can't remember that was years ago. A few years ago. 2007 and 8.
I think so.
Oh, okay. So yeah, but there's a long way to go still, and it looks like they're gonna get relegated. But it looks like they're gonna have a new manager in shortly with the appointment of Rob Edwards from Middlesbrough. It's not been confirmed yet, but it looks like it's going to be that way. What do you think, boys? The fact that Rob Edwards might be leaving Middlesbrough, who are currently second, I think, in the league,
Yeah.
I think
to Wolves, who are
20th.
rock bottom in the Premier League. What do you think, boys?
without a manager, Middlesbrough could struggle here. They could really, really, really struggle. They've had a good start to the season. I don't know who's top of the Championship at the minute.
Coventry.
Coventry.
Yeah.
If Coventry go up to the Premier League, that'd be like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
But I think Coventry have started off really, really well. And they got a big result at the weekend at Stoke, didn't they?
Yeah.
They won 1-0
They're
at
second,
Stoke.
Stoke.
Yeah, they were second. I think, they're still second. Let's have a look while we wait. But Coventry are looking really good there with Frank Lampard at the helm.
I reckon they could do very well in the Premier League. I reckon they could stay up in the Premier League if they get promoted. Like they need to get the right players, get a good budget.
Yeah, Stoke are down to third after that result. So Middlesbrough won at the weekend, so they've gone above them. But it looks like Coventry are 5 points clear at the top. But more importantly, they are 7 points clear of third place.
Wow.
Which is really important. So still early-ish in the season, about a quarter of the season done now. But
season done. Well done, Coventry.
Exactly, well done, Coventry. So we had some games on Saturday, games on Sunday as well. So we had Villa dismantling Bournemouth 4-0. We had Brentford who beat Newcastle 3-1. Newcastle seems to be struggling a little bit on their travels, don't they, boys?
Giving West Ham their first win of the season.
Exactly, losing the... Yeah, it seems like London's not a very good hunting ground for the moment. What do you think?
Not at the minute for Newcastle. They'll be scared when they go to play Arsenal at the rate they're going at.
Absolutely, yeah. Crystal Palace and Brighton played out a goalless draw. Forest beat
Got their
Leeds
first
3-1.
win.
Yeah, is it the first league win under Sean Dyche?
First league winner, Sean Dyche, yeah.
So an important win for those. And then in probably the standout game of the weekend, George will be happy with this one for those listeners that know who he... Yeah, so Manchester City beat Liverpool 3-0.
I'm bored of losing.
So there was a bit of controversy in this game, George, wasn't there?
Andy Robertson was not offside.
See, I've got my referee's hat on here, and according to the laws of the game, he actually was offside.
Oh,
He was off.
He played a part, I think he played a part to block the goalkeeper's vision.
And that's the key word. Yeah, that's the key word. So if you look in the laws of the game, it says about the vision of, the opposition's vision of blocking them. So
that makes sense.
But if you watch the goal back and you look at the reaction of Andy Robertson, I think he knew that he was offside just by his reaction. If you watch them all go and celebrate, he was just a little bit sheepish, Andy Robertson. So, but I don't actually think that would have made much difference to the result. What do you think, George?
Not really. Even if that had gone in, I reckon it would have changed the momentum of the game. But even if we had gone and scored another one after that, we still would have lost 3-2 anyways.
Yeah, I know it was a big goal to hit within 1, or it may have changed the shift. But by that time, I think Haaland had already missed the penalty, hadn't he?
Yeah, good save from Mohamed Dashfali. I thought we'd had that when he'd saved that, but 5 minutes later, the machine that Haaland is, he goes and scores.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about Liverpool at the moment, George? They don't seem to be firing on all cylinders. Do you reckon you've got any?
I don't think we're going to get Champions League. I reckon we could possibly get Conference League this season with how bad we are. I reckon Europa League I'd be happy. Conference League, I reckon that's probably what's going to happen now.
Why do you think it's not working for them?
I don't know. I think we can't just fully blame it on losing Trent. I think a new squad, even though we're a quarter of the way through the season, it's still early days. I think we're still figuring tactics out. And Florian Wirtz hasn't turned up to be the big signing we all thought he was going to be. I don't think that's helped. I think out of all of our attacking signings, the cheapest one, which was Ekatike, has probably been the best one.
Do you think that it's too early to judge at 11 games into the season?
11 games in, pretty too early to judge. But, 8th in the Premier League after 11 games, a team like us, that's not okay.
However, if you look at the league table, so you've got Sunderland in 4th that are on 19 points.
Damn, Sunderland are actually above us.
And then you go all the way down to Newcastle, who have got 12 points. So they're only 7 points behind. They're in 14th. So you think of, there's 10 places that's separated by 7 points.
I'm sure Newcastle fans are not happy about that.
No, but it'll only need one team or a couple of teams to put a run together, won't it?
And then they could go top.
Yeah. I always think that, obviously, we're now approaching another international break, and I always think that the league sort of starts now, really, because you've got no international... After this international break at the weekend, you've got no break in the games until March.
Yes.
So you've got games coming thick and fast, and obviously the top teams will be playing in Europe as well, won't they? Mm-hmm. So they've got that to worry about as well. So... This is, I always think when you get past this international break, this is when the season really starts.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at. Shall we look at St Albans now, George? Oh God, this sounds like it's more pain for George as well. So he's spoken about Liverpool losing. Talk us through St Albans weekend, George.
We lost again. So we were away at Dulwich Hamlet this weekend, and at half time we were painfully 3-0 down. We came back to 3-2, 96 minutes, Dulwich Hamlet get the winner. So even though we did lose 4-2, if you look at the goal times, we actually played pretty well. For a big team like Dulwich Hamlet pushing for playoffs, and we're just chilling down in 16th, 3 points off the relegation zone. We didn't do too bad in that game,
Do you think it's acceptable for St Albans to be
I think
16th in the Isthmian Premier at the moment.
I think the Culverhouse and Paul Bastock leaving haven't really helped going up to Kings Lynn. But I think Dulwich Hamlet, they're a team that are very tough to beat. Like we got first game of the season, we got a 0-0 draw at home to Chatham Town. They're about third, I think.
Yeah, they're third in the league.
Yeah, they're third in the league. Looking at that now, that was a good result for us down in 16th. We need to start winning, like Canvey Island this weekend. That's games we need to be getting the 3 points.
Yeah, I think Canvey Island, they were down the bottom, weren't they? Yeah, they're 20th in the league.
Yeah, those are games we need to be winning if we want to at least either stay up in the league or go back up to the National League South.
Yeah, they need to. I think it's top 7, isn't it? Top 7 get into the playoffs.
Top 7 get into the playoffs.
So 24, 16, 8 points off that at the moment.
8 points off the playoffs.
So a little bit to go. So they've got no midweek game this week.
We're home to Brentwood tonight.
Okay, which is a big game because Brentwood have just come off the top, haven't they?
Yeah, they were unbeaten until like last week, I think. So I'm very scared. They were unbeaten until 2 weeks ago, so I'm very scared to see what happens.
Okay. Well, it'll be ideal time to pick up 3 points, wouldn't it, tonight?
Very.
So, Luke. So, Boreham Wood, I think you're going to be a little bit more happy than George was talking about St Albans. So, Luke, talk us through the weekends and Boreham Wood in the National League Premier Division.
It's the actual National League, and we won. And we won again. We won 3-1, and now we're just 1 point behind first place.
Exactly, yeah, I can see it here. So, Boreham Wood are a point behind Carlisle, aren't they?
Yeah. Carlisle, do something, please.
Although Rochdale behind have got 3 games in hand, and they're only 2 points behind, so that could be something. But
they're playing today against York.
Who, Rochdale are?
Yeah, and Forest Green are playing. I forgot who Forest Green are playing.
Let's have a look and see who Forest Green are playing. We're going to have a look right now and see who they are playing. They are playing.
I feel like they're playing Tamworth.
They are playing Tamworth, yeah, good
Well
thinking.
done, Luke.
Yeah, they are playing Tamworth.
Well
So,
done,
did you see the game on Saturday?
Yep, I watched the
First little bit of the game?
I watched the first half.
Yeah. And what was the score then at
1-0.
half time? 1-0 at half time. So they must be, they're flying at the moment, aren't they, Boreham Wood, in terms of, who's their manager?
Luke Garrard.
So Luke Garrard. So Luke Garrard left in and he came back. But he seems...
Everyone thought he got this. Everyone thinks he got the sack.
Yeah.
Because apparently I think he fell out with the Danny Hunter.
Right.
So then we brought in Ross Jenkins in the National League South, and then he wasn't doing anything.
He wasn't there very long, was he?
He wasn't there long, and then he brought back Luke, and we just started flying. And
Yeah.
And now we're just in second in the National League.
It's a great start, really, after getting promotion last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it promotion through the playoffs as well?
Yeah.
Yes, the promotion through the playoffs, and now to sit second in the league is an outstanding achievement so far. But remember, like they're a little bit further on. They've played 18 games, so they're almost halfway through the season now in the National League.
Already?
So yeah, they're 18 and halfway is 23. So
So they're not that far off halfway.
no, not that far halfway through. So be interesting. And Luke will obviously keep us up to date with all things Boreham Wood. So let's just come away from football a little bit. So autumn internationals took place again at the weekend. England had another resounding victory. I think that makes it 9 wins in a row, I think, for England against... they beat Fiji at the weekend, which was a really good performance at Twickenham. Probably the biggest game of the autumn internationals for England at the during this time is going to take place on Saturday, where they're playing against the All Blacks.
New Zealand.
So
they're very good, and I'm very scared.
yeah, exactly. They had a really good game against Scotland last week, where Scotland ran them really, really close, and New Zealand just came out on top. So that'll be a really interesting thing to see if England can go one better against the All Blacks.
Let's hope.
Formula One, boys. Lando Norris.
Well done, Lando Norris.
Lando Norris is still...
Top.
He won the sprint race and he won the main Grand Prix at the weekend to extend his lead. So with 3 races to go...
Wait, if he wins those 3, does he become world champion?
I think he might only have to win 2 of them, I think. I think. So the next one's in Las Vegas, so that's the street race. So
it's getting tight.
It's getting very tight, and obviously Oscar Piastri hot on his heels. Max Verstappen a little bit further behind, but he can still get there.
I think Lando Norris and Piastri are literally having an argument over who wants the title, basically.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? When two drivers from the same team are both in with the chance of the championship.
That must be so confusing for everyone who works with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it must be hard work.
Go on, why do you think that?
Because if Lando Norris does win it, obviously he has to go in with the championship cup and in front of Piastri.
Yeah, that'll be sort of bittersweet, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, well that rounds up round one. That rounds up the first half. I know I needed a ding ding for like a boxing match. But in part two, we're gonna welcome Mr. Barnes in, who's gonna talk to us all things Leyton Orient. Okay, and welcome back to part two of Sport Talk with Townsend. And as we said, we've been joined by our special guest today, so Mr. Barnes. Welcome, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
So, those of you who don't know, Mr. Barnes works in our maths department, and he is an avid Leyton Orient fan. Okay, so first question to you would be, how did you get into supporting Leyton Orient? Where's that link come from?
I grew up in the area, and obviously in North East London, there's quite a few clubs to choose from. Obviously, we've got the teams that are very well supported in Hertfordshire, like the Arsenals and Spurs, and there's also West Ham there, if you're talking about the top league. But when I started going, I'm going to give away my age, aren't I?
Many moons ago,
yeah. I've sort of got two older brothers, and our parents said to us, we're not sure we want you going to West Ham or Arsenal or Tottenham or whatever. And our actual closest club geographically was Leyton Orient. So in the mid, whenever it was, we started going about 40 years ago. So yeah, and my brothers and most of our children and stuff now, we all kind of support it. And it's more about the fact that it's it's a club and it's a community club. It's a very family-led club. It's not just about what happens on the pitch, but that's that.
Okay, and so I'm assuming that you go regularly.
Yeah, I think in the last, I had a season ticket when I was younger, before I went to university and stuff, and then sort of come back to it again. Just went to various home games. But I've had a season ticket again for the last 3 or 4 years with my children as well. So yeah. Okay.
And I don't know. Well, we all know. Well, you may not know that obviously last season was quite successful. Do you want to talk us through first of all, like how good last season was?
Yeah, I mean we've got a great manager who's his name's Richie Wellens, and he had a really good successful playing career for Leicester, and he was in the youth setup at Manchester United, so he's a Salford, Manchester lad. Really good manager. He's been with us about 3 seasons, and we very nearly got promoted again last year, which would have been the 3rd promotion in about the last 6-7 years. So we got to the playoff final of League One, an amazing run which went from November last year, sort of the end of November last year, we was about 22nd, and we had this amazing run up until the playoff finals in May, where we played some amazing stuff. We had the Golden Boot, highest scorer in the league, and we had some great players, some of them on loan from some bigger clubs because we can't afford to own them, but we done superbly. But we unfortunately lost on the day 1-0 to Charlton Athletic. And also with that, the fact that we lost there then meant that we lost quite a lot of those players because they went off took offers to play in the Championship and stuff. So this season again is kind of started with a different squad. So
okay. And that's all you want to say on that?
Well, like that, as I say, with these smaller clubs, that's kind of what happens. And Richie Wellens a really great manager, but he has to deal with that for like the last 3 summers, where you get 16 players going out and you have to get 16 new players in. And that's why we started last season so badly. So we've started this season. I don't know. League position, we went to 20th after losing on Saturday, and we've actually got the leakiest defence in all 4 divisions, which I think is the complete opposite of what happened last year. You know, we had probably the best defence in all 4 divisions. So yeah, we've conceded 27 goals already. I don't know if it's 11 league matches or it might be more than that actually. So yeah, we're down in 20th. We have got some really great attackers, and we've got a fair squad for League One, where we should be at least mid-table, and again we hope to have been challenging for the playoffs. And again, in a league like League One, it might turn around and change.
Those leagues, especially the League One, the Championship, once teams start going on a run, don't they? They can really pick up some momentum. Similar to what you said about George, about Sir said about it's like 16 players out, 16 players in. Like you talked about Liverpool, didn't you? You talked about some of those players there.
Yeah.
About maybe not having that time to settle in. So
not having too much time to settle in, because we got rid of one player. We bought a lot of players. I think a lot of those new players won't fit the system that Slot wants to play.
Is that something that you see down at Orient as well? About
it's just that they're new and got to gel as a team. I mean, because our squads in obviously League One are probably a lot smaller. I mean, I think you'd have up to sort of 30 players. So it's a whole new first team at our level. So they're all playing together for the first time. So yeah, it takes a while to gel. But we have had some good performances. It's just, as I say, this defensive issue that they need to sort out, really.
Boys, you got any questions?
Did you go to the game against Man City in the FA Cup last year?
Yeah, and I mean, last season was magic, and it kind of turned around in the round before that. We played Oldham Athletic at home on a Tuesday night, and we won that game, so sort of round 2, with a header I think it was either in injury time rather than in extra time, and it was from a header from our goalkeeper. He came up from a free kick like they do right at the end, and he was a loanee from Spurs. His name's Josh Keeley. He's actually at Luton now. They paid £1 million for him, so he scored a header, and that's where our season turned around last year. Then we played Man City, and yeah, that was a great day. That was, hand on heart, we deserved to get at least a draw and possibly beat Man City, which, before the game I was saying to people, people go, Mr. Barnes or whatever, you're playing Man City. I said, yeah, if we only leak 5 or 6, we'll be pleased. But we took the lead. Another loanee from Spurs, Jamie Donnelly, scored from halfway line. Did you see that goal?
Yeah, I saw that goal.
Yeah, so, another player that we lost again in the summer, but he scored this amazing goal. And yeah, they had to bring on, De Bruyne got the second one that finished us off. And on their equaliser was Rico Lewis with a big deflection. So it was a great day, really great day. We came out disappointed that that we'd lost the game, which, against the team when Man City were doing so well last year was brilliant. So.
Yeah, but to only lose by 1 goal to a big team like Man City is quite a remarkable achievement for a team down in League One.
Yeah, but that's the thing, I think, just supporting a smaller club, you do actually realise, football is a game of 11 against 11. So the FA Cup is the best competition by far. Because, your likes of your non-league teams can hold your higher teams. You only got to look at Tamworth last year, who nearly turned over Spurs, didn't they? And I love the FA Cup for that very reason. So
Don't forget Bournemouth beating Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth. Yeah, I know.
They do well in the cups as well. Yeah, I remember we had to overcome them I think in the first round last year.
Yeah,
and only done that on penalties. So yeah, no, I love the FA Cup, and big advocate for smaller teams, because it's not. You'll see there, it is just 11 men against 11 men, and it's the best team on the day, and all these millions that you spend on these players, it doesn't. It's great they've got these good squads and all these competitions, but people can beat them. And
And one final question from me. So, what's your aspirations for Leyton Orient for this season?
As I say, before the season started, because we finished 6th last year, we knew we were going to have this massive turnover. I would be there'd be top half. We would be they will be. I want them to be top half. And again, playoffs would be a bonus, but I'm expecting more like 10th or something possibly. It's I don't know. We used to. You're used to a little bit of disappointment when you support these smaller clubs, aren't you, boys? Sometimes, but as long as the football's entertaining on the pitch, and we'll see.
Perfect. Right, as I'm sure you've heard, that was the bell. So we'll have to wrap things up here. So first of all, thank you, Mr. Barnes, for coming in.
Pleasure. Thank you, boys. Thank you, Mr. Hopkins.
No problem. And boys, thank you for coming. So Jules, thank you.
Thank you.
And Luke, thanks very much once again. And we will see you next week for the next episode of Sport Talk at Townsend.
Bye bye.